You think you know your woman. You think because she's been with you for 5, 10, maybe 15 years that she's somehow immune to what's coming. That the promises, the shared history, the 2 kids, the mortgage, that this is all a bulletproof vest against the brutal truth of biology. Brother, you're living in a fantasy. You're confusing comfort with commitment, and you're mistaking loyalty for lack of options. The biggest lie you've bought into is that love is a protective shield. It is not. Love is a feeling. And feelings, my friend, are volatile. They expire. They are replaced. The only thing that provides long-term stability in a relationship is sustained respect. And the second you sacrifice your frame, that respect is gone. The cold, hard truth is this. There is one word, a single, one-syllable word that holds more primal, terrifying power over a woman than I love you, or I'm sorry, or even I do. It is the single word that, when delivered by a strong man, shatters her frame and forces her emotional and biological reset, and you have been too afraid to use it. The reason your relationship is in the freezer, the reason she treats you like a roommate and not a lover, is not because you forgot Valentine's Day. It's because you are trying to solve a biological, emotional, and hierarchical problem with a logical, male-centric solution. You're throwing logic at a creature of emotion. You are applying the male playbook. If I just provide more, fix more, compromise more, be nicer, then I deserve respect and attraction. Wrong. That's the bargain you make with another man in the marketplace. That's not the bargain you make with a woman's primal core. You think you are failing because you lack love. You are failing because you lack respect and biological attraction. Your failure to lead, your failure to stand strong in the face of her emotional chaos has killed the chemistry. It's not a marital crisis, it's a failure of polarity. You became a safe resource instead of a strong reality. The core reason she lost respect and attraction is because you became predictable, available, and afraid to lose her. You became a source of comfort, not a source of excitement and challenge. You sacrificed your purpose for her presence, and she subconsciously hates you for it. She hates the fact that she holds all the emotional leverage. The solution is not to become mean. The solution is to become uncertain, unaffected, and unapologetically focused on your own mission. You need to flip the script from her being the prize you are trying to keep to you being the reality she is trying to earn. In this video, I'm giving you the formula, the decryption key, to unlock her emotional investment and to deliver that one simple, devastating word that every woman secretly fears from a man she respects. This is the truth you need to hear and the truth she needs to feel. Let's talk about the Neediness Paradox. You've been told the script, be the perfect provider. The emotionally available man. The one who always answers the phone, always makes the compromise, and always puts her needs first. And you followed it. You suppressed your male intuition, you killed your mission focus, and what did you get in return? A flatline in the bedroom, a spike in her disrespect, and the terrifying silence of a relationship that is dying a slow, comfortable death. Why? Because attraction is mathematically inverse to neediness. The formula is brutally simple and unchanging. Attraction, 1 or neediness. The more you need her presence, her approval, or her validation to define your own existence, the less she is fundamentally attracted to you. Your constant availability, your frantic desire to please her, is not a gesture of love. It is a declaration of emotional poverty, and it is a biological repellent. Being nice is not a currency for desire. Being a good provider is expected. When you make yourself too safe, too available, too predictable, when she can perfectly predict your emotional reaction to every one of her tests, you eliminate the necessary friction, the mystery, the uncertainty that triggers her dopamine and compels her emotional investment. There is no challenge, therefore, there is no excitement. A woman wants physical and material safety, a good life, resources, protection. But she craves emotional and spiritual safety, the presence of a man who will not crumble. A man whose internal world is so solid, so dedicated to his mission, that her emotional storms do not move him an inch. The moment she senses that her presence is the single primary pillar of your happiness, She instinctively realizes she holds your emotional leash, and she loses all respect for the man at the other end of it. The man who needs nothing is the man who gets everything. If you've been in a long-term relationship, you know about the tests, the sarcastic comments, the unreasonable demands, the manufactured drama that seemingly comes out of nowhere. We call them shit tests, but their function is not malice. They are fundamentally a woman's subconscious biological mechanism to test the integrity of your frame. She is not trying to be a jerk. She is verifying if you are still the strong, grounded man she chose. She is asking, are you still the leader I can trust, or can I push you around and break your composure? The common, weak male response is to argue, to justify your actions, to get defensive, or worst of all, to apologize for an imaginary offense. That response is a direct fail. By reacting emotionally, you are proving that her minor emotional attack can instantly knock you off center, confirming to her subconscious that your frame is weak. The strong man's strategy is not to resist, but to agree and dissociate with complete emotional indifference. When she attacks, you don't fight the premise. You agree with the surface-level statement and immediately step back. This technique disarms her entirely. Consider the classic example. If she snaps, "You never listen to me, do you?" The weak man says, "Yes, I do. I was just listening to you talk about." That is failing the test. The strong man, with a slight unbothered smirk, says, "You're probably right. I need to get better at that." Then you immediately change the subject, or better yet, you turn back to whatever mission-critical task you were engaged in. By agreeing, you take away her argument's momentum. By displaying emotional indifference, no visible anger, no defensiveness, just calm, you prove that her test holds zero power over your mood or your ultimate purpose. The test is a subconscious request for leadership. Your unshakable indifference is the leadership she craves and the response that makes her feel safe enough to respect you again. Every single person, male and female, is engaged in the comparison game. We are wired to assess our standing, but for women, this instinct is magnified and poisoned by social media's highlight reels and the relentless cultural pressure to be the special one. She is constantly comparing her life, her relationship, and your value to the perfectly curated fantasy of others, or to the idealized version of the man she believes she deserves. This comparison is the slow, toxic poison that kills contentment and drives her emotional withdrawal. Your job is to halt this comparison by wielding the most powerful psychological tool in the red pill arsenal, the reversal of scarcity. You must subtly, calmly, and undeniably show her that her disrespect or negative behavior is ordinary and therefore replaceable. This attacks her ego directly, striking at the core belief that she is the unique snowflake who can behave poorly without consequence because you will never leave. When she acts out, when she is disrespectful, or when she takes you for granted, you do not retaliate with anger or lectures. You meet her with an unspoken but deeply felt sense of, "That's fine. That's what ordinary people do. And I don't keep ordinary around for long." You do not need to verbally declare you're replaceable. You show it through your actions, by instantly withdrawing your emotional labor, by focusing more intensely on your non-relationship goals, by not catering to her every mood. Give her the space she thinks she wants. Your frame must communicate you are free to be an ordinary woman with ordinary disrespectful behaviors. But know that an ordinary woman gets an ordinary man's effort and an ordinary man's focus. My focus is a scarce resource. That quiet, non-emotional threat to her special status is the strongest magnetic force you can generate because it puts her investment on the line. Before the final breakdown, before she initiates the conversation that changes everything, she gives you clues. These are the 5 unmistakable warning signs that she is emotionally checking out, or worse, already building the villain narrative required to justify her future actions. If you see 2 or more of these, the countdown is started. Excessive nostalgia or ex-partner. Inquiry. She suddenly starts bringing up the good old days of your relationship, often in a wistful or critical tone, or subtly asking probing questions about your old girlfriends or past relationships. She's checking her current investment against an idealized past and attempting to rewrite history to make her present choice look worse. Befriending divorced friends. This is a huge screaming red flag. She's suddenly spending more time with women who are recently single, bitter, and actively justifying their own failures and their ex-husband's villainy. This is narrative building and validation seeking. They are solidifying her victim status and giving her a functional blueprint for escape. The locked phone and digital secrecy. This isn't just about the possibility of cheating. It's about establishing a profound boundary of privacy that directly opposes the intimacy of the relationship. It's an internal wall going up. Her phone, her laptop, her digital life is a sanctuary you are no longer welcome in. Sexual indifference. The chore, sex. The sex becomes transactional, predictable, or non-existent. She is using her ultimate biological weapon, intimacy, as a tool for control or as a signal that the emotional connection is severed. You are now being rationed. She needs to make you the villain. This is the most crucial psychological step for her. Why does she do it? Because she cannot leave a good, loving, stable man without immense, crippling emotional trauma and guilt. To justify the wreckage she is about to cause, the destruction of the family unit, the pain to the children, she needs to believe with absolute conviction that you forced her hand. She needs a scapegoat, a monster, to help her move on and keep her own conscience clean. Do not, under any circumstance, play the role of the monster she needs you to be. The mirror method is the art of reflecting her emotional energy without adopting it. It is the ultimate expression of emotional indifference, and it is the only way to re-establish polarity when she is checked out. When she gives you cold energy, you match her energy. Not with anger, not with sadness, but with a simple, emotionless nothing. Phew. You stop being the enthusiastic one, the primary planner, the emotional cheerleader, or the relationship's caretaker. You mirror her energy back at her like a clean, silent pane of glass. Understand this fundamental truth. The greatest threat to her investment is not your anger. It is your indifference. Anger means you still care. It means she holds the power to disrupt your internal world. Indifference means you have mentally and emotionally moved on to higher priorities. When you are indifferent, you create a profound sense of uncertainty in her. She cannot calculate your next move. Her biological need for certainty and control is threatened, forcing her subconscious mind to reevaluate your value. The practical application is simple. After one of the warning signs, you subtly invisibilize her. If she stops initiating communication, you do too. If she spends more time out, you spend more time focused on your mission. A client of mine recently applied this. After his wife threatened to leave, he didn't fight back. He smiled, said, "Okay, that is your choice," and immediately focused 100% on his own elevation. He hit the gym twice a day, doubled down on his business goals, and reconnected with strong male friends. When she tried to start a fight, he would calmly say, "I'm busy, let's talk later." Within 3 weeks, she was seeking his attention, initiating intimacy, and subtly trying to reinvest because his focused energy was now the scarce commodity, and she realized he didn't need her to be whole. This is the psychological nuclear option, a tool to be used with surgical precision and absolute, detached calm. For many women, their sexuality is their ultimate superpower, their final weapon, and their core source of self-esteem and relational control. They operate under the belief that their ability to give or withhold intimacy is the final leverage point over a man. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to shatter this self-perception. You must subtly imply through your actions and rare calculated words that her sexual appeal is, in fact, average. You don't launch an insult. You state an observation. You break her ego by refusing to grant her the validation she expects and demands from your desire. If she withholds sex, you stop pursuing it completely. When she eventually initiates, you are warm, engaged, but critically not desperate. The moment the act is done, you immediately and smoothly transition back to your purpose, reading a book, working on your business, reviewing your gym plan. You show her that the sexual encounter was a pleasant distraction, not the highlight of your day. If she asks, "How was that?" you don't gush or validate. You calmly say, "It was good. I appreciate the effort. We should work on getting your energy back. Or if you need to go harder, it was perfectly fine. Not the most passionate connection I've ever had, but fine. It must be delivered as a non-aggressive, non-insulting statement of fact, as if noting the weather. This denial of her expected sexual validation forces her to ask the terrifying internal question, am I not enough to hold his focus? It compels her, purely through biology, to invest emotionally and physically to prove her value, to reclaim the title of the special one. It moves her out of complacency and back into the pursuit of your admiration. This is the ultimate catalyst for her emotional reinvestment and the reignition of attraction. The final law of relational polarity is this: build a life where your woman is an additive, not the center. You must construct an entire universe for yourself, a personal empire built on purpose, mission, and unshakable internal validation. If she is the center, your entire universe collapses the moment she decides to leave, and she knows it. If she is an additive, a beautiful, valuable complement to your life, the universe merely shrinks, but its core remains intact. That core stability is what she respects. Stop operating under the naive belief that loyalty is an inherent, unshakable female trait that is earned through kindness and commitment. Female loyalty lasts until the emotional attraction switch is flipped. Once that biological, subconscious switch of attraction is gone, is thrown, no amount of logic, no amount of money, no amount of begging, no amount of shared history can bring her back. You cannot logic your way back into a biological dynamic. Your purpose, your mission, the relentless development of your own character must be demonstrably bigger than your relationship. If your focus is entirely on her, you have stopped growing, and if you are not growing, she is not following. She wants to be a complement to a great man who is building something vast, not the emotional caretaker of a man who stopped growing the day he got the ring. This is why you must maintain your edge, your focus, and your non-negotiable ambition. The man who truly has options, a great life, a strong mission, high value that exists entirely outside of the relationship, is the man who can deliver the one word that women fear most. He is the man who is prepared for the inevitable aftermath of confrontation, because he knows his life continues to move forward, with or without her. Your ultimate challenge, starting today, is to become the man who needs less validation, needs less comfort, needs less praise, needs less from her. You must be the least needy entity in the room. This detachment is not cruelty. It is competence. It is the sign of a man whose well-being is internally generated. Are you going to continue to live in the fear that keeps you small, keeps you catering, keeps you begging for affection? Are you going to continue to let the fear of loss slowly kill your relationship, one predictable, available, agreeable day at a time? Or are you going to say the hard truth, the truth she fears, the truth she needs to hear for her to fully respect you? Are you going to stand on your frame and risk the temporary pain for the long-term respect and passion? The one word you need to be prepared to deliver, the word that strips away her leverage and forces her to reevaluate her entire investment in your future, is the one word that a strong man uses without reservation because he is genuinely prepared to walk. That word is next. It means you are not the exception to the rule of scarcity. You are not the center of my universe. You are an option, and if you choose to diminish my life, I will move on to the next chapter, the next opportunity, the next woman, without falling apart. My mission continues. She doesn't fear losing you. She fears you not fearing losing her. She doesn't fear your words. She fears the cold, hard reality of your truth, the truth that you are autonomous and capable of choice. Use the word next in your behavior, in your focus, in your indifference to her emotional games. Use it without hesitation, without apology, and without mercy to your own weakness. Go, build your life, and watch her follow.